What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It's HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And I guess welcome to another sort of top 10 list. I know I did lists on the best and worst of this sort of top 10 a few years ago, back in 2018. But I figured I'd do updates on those. I'll still keep those old videos up, but this is the one that's the more updated one. I did videos a few years ago on my top 10 favorite horror remakes and least favorite horror remakes, but I figured I'd do updates on those videos. So after this video, you'll be seeing the least favorite horror remakes in my top 10, but this video in particular is going to be on my top 10 favorite horror remakes. Now, personally, these 10 remakes I feel like are very, very good. I think they're really good in their own right. I feel like they did things differently than the original film, things like that. But there's a few in here that I could have put. I almost put the Crazies in here. I honestly think that's better than the original George Romero version. I never was really into the original Crazies from the 70s. I like the remake better because I really like Timothy Olyphant. And I like Rhoda Mitchell. I like the direction. I like the setting. So that almost made the list, and a few others almost made it on here. But I'm going to showcase you guys my top 10 favorite horror film remakes. So here is the list here. And let's get started. Number 10 for the best, Maniac. I was personally really, really surprised with this film because I'm a huge fan of the original by William Lustig, which starred Joe Spinell as the Maniac. This one you have Frank Calhoun, who directed P2, which is about the woman that was trapped in the parking garage by the security guard. But now in this one, you have Elijah Wood this time as the Maniac himself. And Elijah Wood really, really did surprise me in this film. And if you listen to interviews with Elijah Wood, you can tell Elijah Wood's a really big fan of horror movies and things like that. You know, because he did horror films like The Faculty and a few other things, things like that. I can't think of other horror films that he really did other than The Faculty from back in the day before this film. Because he did Lord of the Rings and The Good Son, things like that. But Elijah Wood was surprisingly really, really good in this. Gave a really top-notch performance. He was very believable as the Maniac. Although I think I like Joe Spinell the best out of the two. But I still think Elijah Wood pulled off being the Maniac really, really well. I like the POV shots and him looking in the mirror. Really good-looking shots that the director had in this film. But yeah, Maniac. Definitely one that really did surprise me. Number 9, Down, which is also known as The Shaft in the U.S., but overseas it was called Down, which I actually like that title better, Down. Now, this is a remake of, I believe, a French film called The Lift. Actually, the same director of this remake directed the original film, which is crazy. But this is a really fun movie. It's a killer elevator movie. I mean, what more can you want? It's cutting people in half, and there's a skateboarder kid that the elevator sucks in, and then it rides it all the way up the building, and it launches the skateboarder kid out the window, and he goes splat on the ground. I really like James Marshall as our lead hero, who is he's an elevator mechanic. Naomi Watts, before she made it big with The Ring and things like that, is our female lead. He has a great supporting cast of people like Dan Hedaya, Michael Ironside, Edward Herrmann, Ron Perlman. And just to cut the top of the movie off, I mean, the movie ends with Aerosmith. When the end credits are rolling, it ends with "Love in an Elevator" by Aerosmith. What more can you need to say about that? Love that movie. Number 8 is actually up there. See if I can point to it. There we go. Right up there. Yep, Friday the 13th is my number 8. because what I love about this film, for me personally, I like the way that they didn't disrespect the Jason character. Because when I look at films like Halloween 5 and even the remake, which I'll talk about in the worst, like I didn't like the fact like how they like Halloween 5, like they made Michael Myers cry, and they and the remake they made his family trailer park trash. Like that's not who Michael Myers is. And at least in this one, they did something a little bit different with Jason. They kind of made him a bit smarter, which I thought was cool, which I thought was a cool idea. And he was still, and Derek Mears did a good job as Jason. They didn't make him cry. They didn't make him, see white horses or things like that. Jason was a badass, just killing people left and right. And I think they did a good job with the Jason character. I really like Jared Padalecki as our lead, as Clay, who's looking for his missing sister. Like I said, I like Derek Mears as Jason. I like some of the other cast members are pretty decent as well, but I think Jared Padalecki is easily the best of the main human actors that's not Jason. I think he was the best guy out of the bunch. But it's gory, it's fun. Like I said, Derek Mears does a good job as Jason. I thought it was directed very, very well. And just a very solid remake overall. So that's my number 8. Number 7, House of Wax. I sincerely enjoy this film. I love the remake of House of Wax. Of course, this is the new Screen Factory Blu-ray. I'll be showing this in a Blu-ray update very soon, but I figured I'd show it for my number 7. What I like about this one is the whole concept. I like how it's like in this ghost town. And I tell you what, it's got some really good effects, like some really good gore effects, really good special makeup effects. I love the whole finale, like when the whole wax museum is on fire and the whole thing is melting because it's all made of wax, and our heroes have to get out of there while being chased by the killers, which is actually, here's one of them here, and that's like partly them on the cover. But yeah, it's gory, it's fun, it's entertaining. Jared Padalecki has a supporting role in this as one of the people. I like Elijah Cuthbert, Chad Michael Murray, even Paris Hilton was pretty decent in this. Robert Richard, directed very well by John McCollette Sarah, who went on to do like Orphan and worked a lot with Liam Neeson on like Run All Night and Nonstop. But yeah, House of Wax, easily my number 7. Number 6, Dawn of the Dead from 2004. Love this movie a lot. I think Zack Snyder did a good job directing this film. And of course, you can't really tell this is the remake, but here you go. The original cover of the poster of the movie. Very action-packed. I like how it's very different from the original. The zombies don't move slow. They actually run, which I thought was cool. Good gore, nice bits of action. Like the cast, Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames, Jake Weber, Mekhi Phifer, Kevin Zegers, Ty Burrell. Written by James Gunn. I mean, but I'm sure everybody knows about the Dawn of the Dead remake. Number 5, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Easily, what I like about the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was how different it was from the original, because I love the original classic by Tobe Hooper. That's one of my favorite horror films from the 70s, period. I mean, it's in my like top 5 favorite horror films from the 70s. True classic, and it's definitely Tobe Hooper's masterpiece. But this is good in its own right, too, because it was very different. Different family, different characters. It's definitely very gory. I like Jessica Biel as the lead. I also really like Arlie Ermey. May God rest his soul. Always loved Arlie Ermey as an actor. Full Metal Jacket. Saving Silverman as the coach. He was a lot of fun in that. And I like the other people, like Jonathan Tucker, Erica Learson, Mike Vogel, Eric Balfour. I thought Andrew Bernarski did a good job as Leatherface, but I still think Gunnar Hansen was the true Leatherface in my opinion. And I like Jessica Biel's character, and she was badass. I mean, even at the end, messing up Leatherface, cutting his arm off with a cleaver and things like that. I mean, it's just a very gory movie, and it's different from the original, and I like that. Number four, of course, is The Thing. What more can you say about The Thing that has not been said before? This is a true classic. Definitely one of John Carpenter's masterpieces. Definitely one of Kurt Russell's best roles. One of his best films, period. Also, really like Wilford Brimley, Keith David, T.K. Carter. Just a good cast in here. Great makeup effects by Rob Bottin. I mean, what more can you say about The Thing that has not been said before? Number three, The Fly. David Cronenberg's masterpiece, in my opinion. I still need to get this on Blu-ray. I need the Blu-ray of this big time. I actually own also the 2-disc edition of the sequel as well, which I would not mind getting on Blu-ray too, which I think only that Blu-ray is available in that Fly box set. But David Cronenberg's masterpiece, I mean, some of the best special effects you'll ever see. It's probably my favorite film dealing with, when it comes to like special effects. This is like my personal favorite like special effects movie, because like when Seth Brundle is transforming into the Fly, it's really disgusting and gross, but it's so cool. The transformation scene is so well done. You would not see anything like that with practical effects in today's age. This is practical makeup. And you feel sorry for Jeff Goldblum. The love story with him and Gina Davis is tragic, but it's a good love story between the two. I like John Getz as sort of Gina Davis's boyfriend. Great musical score by Howard Shore. I mean, what more? I mean, it's The Fly. I mean, what more can be said about that film? Number two, The Blob. Had to mention horror film remakes for the best without... I can't go on mentioning best remakes without mentioning this film. Also a film for me that has fantastic special effects, because this was done 2 years after The Fly. Great practical special effects on the Blob itself. Likable characters like, you know, Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith. And I like Donovan Leitch, Jeffrey DeMunn, Candy Clark, Art LaFleur. Directed by Chuck Russell, who did Elm Street 3 and Eraser and The Mask with Jim Carrey. I mean, this is a true classic of a horror film. Like a true classic remake when it comes to horror films. It's definitely one of my favorite monster films of all time. I just love The Blob. And of course, my number one favorite horror remake is easily The Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes remake, in my personal opinion, it's superior to the original film. I don't mind the original that Wes Craven did with Michael Berryman, but I still think this film is much more superior, because this film actually deals with mutant people. They're actually mutants in this one. And I like the cast in here too. Like I like Aaron Stanford. You have Kathleen Quinlan from films like Breakdown and Event Horizon, Vanessa Shaw, Dan Bird, Robert Joy as Lizard. You have Ted Levine as the dad of the family. One of the few times Ted Levine got to play a good guy. But what I like about this film, like the second half of the film kind of turns into like a revenge action movie where the mutants have killed almost everybody, and Aaron Stanford, the character of Doug, and the mutant stole his baby, and he wants his baby back. He's not going to take any crap, and he just goes to town on the mutants. And love the fight that he has with Pluto, played by Michael Bailey Smith. And I thought it was very well directed by Alexander Aja. Love the location in the desert. It's gory. It's very entertaining just to see Aaron Stanford's character of Doug just go to town on the mutants. And I love the Hills Have Eyes remake. So that is pretty much it. That's my top 10 favorite horror remakes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.